This is my 2-week experience with the carnivore diet. Now in this video I'll go over a few things. Where I got the inspiration to start the carnivore diet, my prior experience with the carnivore diet before starting these 2 weeks, who am I, why did I start the carnivore diet, how long have I been on the carnivore diet, what do I eat, what do I drink, how often do I eat, what is my experience with the carnivore diet, and I'll end it with my prior experience with it versus this time. And of course there will be timestamps in the description below if you want to see where we're at and if you just want to look at a specific thing. Now my inspiration to start the carnivore diet. Last year I came across a bunch of articles and YouTube videos and people talking about the carnivore diet, and I was kind of curious. But then I came across a YouTube channel called What I've Learned, and I watched his video, Carnivore Diet. Why would it work? What about nutrients and fiber? And watching that video kind of assured me that it would be safe. I would be getting most of the nutrients I needed on a carnivore diet. I might need to supplement with some supplements, like a little bit. The second inspiration I had to start this carnivore diet now was a Harvard study called Behavioral Characteristics and Self-Reported Health Status Amongst 2029 Adults Consuming a Carnivore Diet. Just FYI, the Harvard study, I've made a separate video on the Harvard study where I go through the entire thing. And there's a link to that video in the description. So if you want to watch this study I'm talking about, go watch that video. I sum it up in about 10-11 minutes. What is different about this is that it is a study that involved a lot of people reporting their benefits and their experience with the carnivore diet. Now prior to this study, the only kind of insight I had was single individuals talking about their experience, and there was a rather small group of people talking about it. Now, after reading through this study, I kind of got a wider picture because there were 2,029 people reporting instead of 10 different people over 10 videos or 10 articles or whatever. So the article kind of gave me the confidence I needed to give this another go. My prior experience with the carnivore diet before starting the carnivore diet this time. Last year, January 2021, I went through the entire month of January on a carnivore diet. I had 1 or 2 days where I kind of didn't follow the carnivore diet because we were invited to dinners or something like that. The experience I had that time versus the experience I'm having this time are different, and I'll go over the differences in the conclusions of this video. That's what I'll end with. So who am I? I'm a Norwegian guy, 39 years old, almost 40. I have 2 kids, a wife and a dog. Live a relatively active lifestyle, basically healthy, don't have any conditions, I'm not obese. Before starting this diet, I maybe had a couple of kilos too many on my body, but we'll get back to that later. I work out regularly, but not a lot, 1 to 2 times a week, plus I walk my dog every day, so I do get some exercise. So why did I start on the carnivore diet? As I saw in that Harvard study mentioned earlier, there were most of the participants in that study started on the carnivore diet to lose weight. And in that study, almost every single one reported that they had either resolved or improved their issue with obesity or overweight. So I was 92 kilos when I started, and that's almost 10 kilos too much. I need to be 82 or below to be considered not overweight, according to the BMI thing. I guess you could say health was maybe a factor because I wanted to lose some weight. The study also said that the participants experienced improvements in sleep, energy, focus. Now, those are things that piqued my curiosity enough that I wanted to try the carnivore diet again. So, how long have I been on the carnivore diet? Now it's a little over 2 weeks for the second time in my life. First time was back in January 21, and then it was through the whole month of January. That was my first experience. My plan is to go 4 weeks this time. So I have 2 weeks left. What do I eat on the carnivore diet? A lot of eggs. Eggs are extremely nutritious and delicious. So I have a lot of eggs, minced meat, minced beef. I eat ribeye steaks, salmon. I eat chicken, pork, bacon, pork chops. I mean, these are just different variations of the meats I've mentioned, of course, but also I do take some supplements. For supplementation, I drink cod liver oil. This is good for vitamin D and some nutritious fats like omega-3 and stuff. I take magnesium pills because anyways it's hard to get magnesium or enough magnesium through any diet, and it's no different for the carnivore diet, so supplementing with magnesium is always a good idea. And I take D vitamin pills because I live in northern Norway and it's like no sun for several months, so I should do that anyway. Doesn't have anything to do with the diet. I just really need vitamin D because I don't get it through sunshine for months. And lastly, I take an electrolyte supplement. Now these are just some pills you drop into a glass of water and you drink it that help you stay hydrated. And that is basically all I eat. I do use salt and pepper, nothing else, no other spices or herbs. I don't use any condiments. It's just meat, fish, eggs, and salt and pepper. What do I drink on the carnivore diet? Well, a lot of water, carbonated water. Sometimes I add a little bit of salt to the water just to get a little more electrolytes. Probably don't need it, but it doesn't hurt. I drink coffee, and that's about it. Water and coffee, nothing else. Oh, and of course water with the electrolyte pills supplement thing I mentioned earlier. How often do I eat on the carnivore diet? Well, I don't eat breakfast. I didn't before the carnivore diet either. Usually my first meal is lunch. And now, sometimes my first meal is lunch. Other times my first meal is dinner. It varies. Sometimes I eat lunch, dinner, and then a snack before bed. Other times I only eat dinner or lunch and dinner. So it's between 1 and 3. Most of the time it's 2 meals a day. Lunch and dinner, or dinner and something before I go to bed. What did I experience going into the carnivore diet? First, let's go over lifestyle things. As I mentioned, I have 2 kids and a wife, and I'm usually the guy making dinner in this house. So going into the carnivore diet, I had to make 2 dinners, one for my family and one for myself. Now, throwing together some meat and salt and pepper for myself, that's not a lot of hard work, but it adds to making a separate dinner for my family. So it kind of doubles up. Other than that, we haven't really been out to eat since I started, so I can't really comment on that, but I do imagine going to restaurants could be a challenge. The 2 weeks I've been on the carnivore diet, has my health improved? I mentioned sleep, focus, and energy, and I can't really say I've noticed a huge difference. I do have a bit more stable energy. I don't crash after dinner and have to take power naps. Focus, well, I guess I started making YouTube videos, so maybe I have a bit more focus. I don't know. I'm not sure. Could be. Sleep, I've always struggled with sleep. I work shifts, so I kind of flip my days around sometimes. The last couple of days, I've been going to bed early and getting up early consistently. And I don't know if it's the diet or if it's just because I've set myself things to do. Could be several things. But those are changes that happened after starting the carnivore diet. I'm not saying it is because of it. I am saying at least it happened at the same time. Other than that, regarding health, I could say that my food cravings have diminished or disappeared completely. December was a horrible month considering my diet. There was a lot of chocolate, a lot of bear, chips, a lot of Christmas food. It was not a healthy month, to be sure. And I had crazy cravings. I could not pass the fridge without opening it up and taking a little bit of chocolate or something. Now, the first week of carnivore, I still had those cravings, but they kind of passed gradually as the week went by. And now, past the second week, I don't have any cravings. If I see a chocolate bar, it doesn't feel like I have to get it. There's nothing pulling me towards it. It's weird. And when I'm making dinner, I'm frying up my meat and I'm making dinner for my family. I'm good. I throw the meat on my plate and I eat it, and there's nothing like, oh, I want more. That was my experience in December. I couldn't eat until I was just full. I didn't stop until I was stuffed, and I don't have that anymore. So that is a huge thing for me with the carnivore diet. The cravings went 100% away. It stopped. And again, going back to the Harvard study, a lot of people participating in it reported that they had chronic conditions and used medication. Almost every single participant had improvements or resolved their issues with medications and chronic conditions. Now, I don't use any medications. As I said, I'm a relatively healthy individual, but what I can say is during these 2 weeks, I've lost 5 kilos. So I've lost some weight. I am not eating any carbs. I am not drinking alcohol. I have no sugar in my diet, nothing. It's just meat and water and coffee. So, of course, a lot of these 5 kilos will be water weight. I will gain a lot of it back as soon as I start eating carbs and my body starts retaining a lot more water. That's fine, but I'm thinking for the next 2 weeks or 4 weeks or however long I'll continue, I will be losing fat and not water. Maybe I've already started. I feel a lot slimmer and lighter, that's for sure. Other than that, as I said, I'm 39 years old, and when you pass 30, you automatically get lower back pains. That's just part of getting older. At least that's my experience. So I've been bothered with lower back pain for several years. It's been nothing horrible, but it's still there almost always. And whenever I get out of bed in the morning, I feel it's there. And during the day, I get it a couple of times. I feel it's there. And then when I go to bed, I know it's there. So it's been something that's been with me for years. It's weird because on this carnivore diet, I feel it less. Some mornings I don't feel any pain, or during the day or when I go to bed. And other times I can feel it a little bit, but not as much as it used to be. My theory is that it's some inflammatory issue. There is something in my body or something in my prior diet that kind of made my body inflamed. My back kind of responded to that. And lastly, we'll go into my first time experience versus my second time, which is this time, with the carnivore diet. The first time I remember extremely well. In the beginning, I could not trust a fart. If I had a fart, I had to go sit on the bathroom because there was no guarantee that that was just a fart. Now, that has changed drastically for this time around. Could be the supplements I'm using. It could be that something this time around at least made sure that I can trust a fart. If I have to fart, I know it's a fart. But that is a huge difference. I remember it vividly. I had no control over it. So I was always close to a toilet for at least the first week, maybe the 2 first weeks. First time I also lost a lot of weight during the first 2 weeks, and after that it kind of stagnated, it kind of evened out and it didn't go as fast, but I did lose more weight. It wasn't just during the first 2 weeks. So I'm expecting the same this time. So to finish this video, I'm just going to say that this is my experience. I do not recommend you try it. Do so at your own risk. Talk with your doctor. I did. Not specifically about the diet, but about my health and in general before starting. And as I mentioned, I've gone over the Harvard study with the 2029 participants talking about their experience with the carnivore diet. If you want to see that walkthrough of that study, it's in the description. So to end this video, I'd like to say that this has been my first 2 weeks. My plan is to go 4 weeks. There will be an update on week 4. In the meantime, this is the first experiment on the channel, the Carnivore Diet project. So What other projects will I start? I'm not sure. We'll see. If you stick around, you'll find out. So please subscribe if you want to. If not, don't. Like, dislike. See you around. Thanks for watching.